Hi, this is Sheila Thelen at Vestibular Training Services. What we're going to do today is just give you a nice overview of our company and talk about how vestibular training can truly help all of your athletes. We talk all the time about training the human body all day long, but at some point, really in adding in the neuro is where we're seeing the success really with all of our athletes in general. So I'm Sheila Thelen, and I'm the president of Vestibular Training Services. I hold the U.S. patent for the product, and in addition, I'm a master-rated figure skating coach with, 35 years of coaching. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've worked with 500,000 athletes. We also have over 1 million athletes already using our product for over decades. So with that, these are the training tools that we are bringing forward from the sport of figure skating that's so different from other sports. So I always talk about what makes figure skating so different than all the other sports is the fact that our athletes do not get dizzy. And we didn't think anything of it originally, but now we really do, that our athletes don't get dizzy. You can spin them and spin them and spin them. They can come out of the spin or out of the jump and off they go, and that doesn't affect them. So we started asking questions to doctors and PTs and OTs and a whole bunch of different industry specialists. And ultimately, we came up with the vestibular system. So as we talk about the vestibular system, this is what we're talking about. So it's on the inside of your ear. So here's your ear, here's your eardrum. It leads into the vestibular system, which then leads out into the cochlea that you'll hear. A lot of people understand cochlea implants for children that are deaf. But this vestibular system is tied to 30 different major projects within your human body. But in addition, the 4 big ones we talk about here in this company it's tied to your entire balance system. So in working on this vestibular system and getting that gel to move properly through the vestibular system, that will improve your balance. So improving an athlete's balance, that's great. We've really achieved something, haven't we? So improving balance from the vestibular. And the other piece too, we're really taking it from the vestibular down rather than the feet up, which is very different than how we've always coached balance. So taking it from the vestibular down in that neuro section of your brain. The other big factors, I'm just going to go over the 4 real quick. So it's 1 is balance, 2 is cognitive, how fast your brain processes the information coming in from your eyes and ears through that vestibular system. The third thing we talk about all the time is non-spatial disorientation. And of course, the 4th thing is sleep. So can I get your athletes to have better balance? Can I get your athletes to sleep better? Can I get them to get not confused on the field? Can I also help them think faster? So all of these things are all key to what we think makes better athletes. So taking it from the vestibular, I'm gonna quick show you a whole batch of videos because we're not really into pitch decks in this company. We really like our moving videos to talk about what we're doing differently and how this could so easily apply to the general population. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen share and just show all the different ways that our product is very different. I do have a busy desktop here. Sorry, here we go. I want to start out with one of our famous videos that NASA really loved. And so it's always fun to say you get to work with NASA, but here we go right here. So this is where we talk about chaos training and gravity and understanding where your body is in space. So here is one of my high test athletes. And you'll see that she is so fast on this gear. It's super impressive. And at the end, she's going to show us how she's not dizzy. And this is where we're talking about how that non-spatial disorientation really becomes a key in how you train your athletes. So at the end, I'm going to throw this Hiko stick at the floor from down here, right down here in the floor here. And she'll have to also decision make at the same time. So here it comes. So I'm going to call the color and she's going to have to catch it. Okay, hold on. Ready? Green. Oh, and it's a bad throw too. I'm a bad throw. Okay, but notice the decision making. So not only did she come down and was not dizzy from all of that training. In addition, she's showing she's not dizzy. She's going to catch the Hiko stick and decision make the color green as I poorly throw it at her. So all of these pieces are really, really key, and you can see the athlete's development in how fast her brain can really move. We always talk about our really fast videos because they're epic. But I also want to talk about our slow videos. And this is one of my favorite slow videos, and how easy the gear is to run. So this is Dr. Andy Belz, who is a Dr. PT in the Ohio area. In addition, you'll see it pan over to his 8-year-old who's running the gear. Okay, so the 8-year-old's running the gear for dad. And he's going to talk about how this vestibular system really is key in how your brain moves through space.
Hi LinkedIn friends, it's been great to be with you all this year. I've really enjoyed your posts, got a lot of new connections. Hit it, Liam. Happy New Year to you all. You're probably thinking about possibly starting some New Year's resolutions, and that might include working out. I want to thank Shelia Thelen. She has allowed me to train with her vestibular spinning devices and harness. It's been a very interesting experience. I have been training for 2 months, and I started at 10 spins, and now I'm up to 30, and I can actually talk while I'm standing on the platform, which is pretty cool. My dizziness that I get at the end is minimal, and we're going to show that to you. I'm going to have you video my eyes at the end, but my point is that our bodies can compensate, and they can adapt. Whether it be you have an inner ear problem, or you have muscle weakness, or a neurological problem, if we can stimulate our bodies at the right dosage, at the right consistency, over a period of time, we will get better. So stick with your New Year's resolutions and go after it. Second thing I want to tell you, it's really cool, is that our inner ears move our eyes when we move our bodies. Our inner ears also help us see clearly when we move our heads. And so part of spinning training is trying to train that reflex not to hit quite so hard when we spin. Sheila's ice skaters have fascinated me because they can spin and their eyes don't hit hard after spinning like tornadoes. So it's amazing. So come on in, get this video. You can see maybe my nystagmus. I have purposefully tried not to fixate or focus on anything so that it would keep hitting hard. But when my eyes are spinning like that, I'm trying not to focus on the camera. I feel spinning. Now my spinning is gone. Point is, for all of those of you who are battling dizziness, or are a therapist or a doctor, an audiologist who's helping people with dizziness, you know, one thing that I do with my patients that really...
Okay, he's going to keep going. So, but this is the perfect example of how this can really help your athletes. I'm going to jump to another video. We have 2 products in our company. The first one, what you saw, the fly system. This is what we call our rail system. And this is actually me working at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center with Pat Garrity. I was there working with some NBA guys. I'm the short one. Although Pat is 7 feet tall. So let's be honest here. So we've got Pat right there. And we talk about improving balance. And we talk about the alertness. We also talk about the vibration that comes up through the bottom of the engine here and up into his feet. So we really do love the importance of vibration coming up through your feet and up into your brain. So that is part of where we are teaming up with Positrack and their Precon 3. It really can show how that blood flow and that balance are all tied together, but through that vibration platform concept. This is where you can totally see how we tie in with SMARTfit, because really this is where we're getting the whole neuro load that we truly believe in. Also down here in this bottom corner here, right down here, is my balance mat that I use from Body Tracks. So we do a 10-second eyes open, 10-second eyes closed, pre and post test. And with that, that's where we can see the improvements in this balance. So I want to talk about, like, so this is our rail system, and then you've seen previously our fly systems. So this is presently patent pending, which we're really excited about. And of course, the fly system is patented here in the United States. I'm going to quick jump to just a couple more concepts, but I really want to talk about the data. So we recently worked with a brain injury. This is one of our favorite examples. He was hit by a postal truck on his motorcycle. So he's in training with me. And with that, this is a 12-year-old brain injury, and it's a significant brain injury. He still is 60% paralyzed on this right side of his body. So the fascinating part is in bringing the brain to center through the spinning motion. So he'd done 2 sets of the no fly, like you just seen Dr. Andy Belts do, but he wanted to fly because he'd watched the kids do it. So he wanted to do the fly. We're like, sure, why not? So 2 sets of no fly into 1 set of fly. And this whole process really only takes 5 minutes. So he talks about it was the most fun he'd had in 12 years since the original accident. Super fun, a good dopamine and serotonin load, had a great time, super fun. Midline cross, both sides of his brain. There's that vestibular, but here comes the big move. He comes down on his right side, which is the paralyzed side, without even realizing it. Notice there he is on his right foot. And now he shifts to his left foot. And he didn't even realize he came down on the bad foot until we told him. He had no clue that he had really done that because we centered his brain. But I want to look at the data that we have drawn from this brain injury. So here's a perfect example of what we're looking at. So here's his pre-test, 10 seconds eyes open, and here's his post-test, 10 seconds eyes open. So he's going to start with a 0.02 head sway, but in the post, he goes down to 0. Like, so he stops that head sway in the movement. He moves from 5.71 inches of foot movement in 10 seconds down to 3.85. He goes from 3 circles of the bullseye, moving with his head, the red dot is his head, with it moving away from center to coming back to center in the post-test and losing an entire circle of the bullseye that we talk about what an exponential improvement that was in a 12-year-old brain injury. So I just want to also add in his pre and post-test of eyes closed. Here's his eyes open, or his eyes closed pre-test. Here's his post-test. And these are where the data gets just as fascinating. He goes from a 0.12 head sway down to a 0.01. He goes from 10 inches of foot movement down to 4.32 in just 5 minutes of vestibular training. He goes from a zigzag motion, and I'll be honest, I spotted him. I was really convinced he was going to fall in this initial pre-test with his eyes closed. And in the post-test, look at that, all quiet down. But when we really looked at his data, as in so many thousands of other pieces of data here, he left with better balance with his eyes closed than when he rolled in that day with his eyes open. And this is the data we just keep seeing over and over and over again within our company. And this is what we're so excited about. We also acknowledge too that there's so many data points that we really are trying to control, not having so much data that it's overwhelming to people to understand. But what we see, of course, is in improving that vestibular system. This is where we can really see instant improvements the first time they use it. So it's 5 minutes of training. The first time they use it, they're going to notice it immediately. It feels like spidey senses. It feels like spidey senses. They feel an alertness, a focus that they just didn't have at the beginning of the session. A lot of people show up with bright, shiny, happy eyes when they're done with it. And in addition, they talk about it's the best night's sleep of their lives. The results last about 3 days. But with that, at the 6 to 8 week mark, it really sticks. So when we look at the big picture of that, most athletes do it 2 or 3 times a week is perfect. 5 minutes, 2-3 times a week, and they really see success with that. At the 6 to 8 week mark, it really sticks. And we're given the option then to maybe just drop down to once a week. And the athletes all really still enjoy it to the point that they still continue to want to do the 2-3 days a week. I have my athletes doing 6 days a week. Once again, that 5 minutes, just 6 days a week in figure skating. Although I'm told that the Russian kids are doing it 3 times a day in Russia, is what I'm being told from other athletes. So it'll be interesting to see how we can apply that here in the United States. Our project so far, and I'm so honored to talk about this, we are teaming up with SMARTfit, we're teaming up with Positrack, we're teaming up with Precon 3, and these are projects that really can come forward. We're also doing tons of projects with NeuroTracker, Lifetime Fitness, Maverick. We're also doing some projects with the US military, and it's truly an honor to work with. We have a batch of Navy SEALs and also a batch of Marines that have been working with us. What an honor. We're also teaming up with Westside Barbell. Those guys are geniuses over there. We really enjoy working with them, talking about leadership in the world of heavy lifting and mixed martial arts, and also jiu-jitsu. What a neat group to work with. We look at children. We work, our base really is children. So we have worked with children with autism, children with ADHD, and a lot of concussions within children, having seen significant success. And we also work with the whole aging population too. So the aging populations, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all of those projects have come forward in applying vestibular also. So, my gosh, I've just listed, I think, every population that there is. So not only am I with the athletes, but we're with the general population. And I think that's a really important concept to look at within the sports industry of applying world-class sports training tools to the general public. And I think that's a really important concept that we've been doing for years without even really realizing it. I also want to take one more little, take a little section out that when we talk all the time about rehabilitation and we talk about human performance, we really run them as 2 separate industries. And I want to take a second to combine those together, because in our company, we really see them still as one human and one brain. So whether you're in a rehabilitation situation or you're in human performance, it's all the same, so we really want to treat them the same and treat that human brain as the same. At some point, you can only train the body so much. So could we add neuro to it, to that, seeing that next level of performance from your athletes? So I want to thank you again, and I want to thank Marty, and I want to thank everyone that's teaming up with us. We really like to team up in all of our projects because we just think it's more powerful that way. I think you can also take pieces of other companies and use them as pre and post testing also. So you can easily use SmartFit at the beginning of the session for 5 minutes, then go on to our work, to 5 minutes of gentle spinning, come back again. And from there, you can retest SmartFit and see your score improve. These are all pieces that are easily tied together that would be wonderful in a neuro room for your athletes. So once again, if there's anything I can do to help you, please contact me. I'm also on LinkedIn. So I do a lot of work on LinkedIn. So feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, Shelia Thelen, Thelen. You can email me at sheila@spinthebrain.com. And our main website is spinyourbrain.com. It's all right there. So we have flying vestibulars here. So contact me. Let's team up. These are all the pieces that could really be helping your athlete. There's 2 vestibular systems. Let's make them work for your athletes. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again.
Hello, my name is Cathi Lamberti, and I'm here to share SmartFit with you. So the SmartFit technology uses the adaptive capacity model to deliver its training. This is more consistent with how we evolved. When you think about how we've been functioning in life, we put our minds to something and then we throw our bodies at it until we develop the skill to do it. Then with practice, we get better. So basically, how we evolved was whether we were pursuing safety or food or shelter, whatever it was, we would put our minds to it. And that would involve executive functioning demands like problem solving, cognitive flexibility, decision making, and planning. And then we would throw our bodies at it until we got the skill to do it. And with more practice, we got better. And so the better we were, the better we survived. So when you transfer that over to how we train in sports, it's a very similar thing. And that is, if you consider a person taking a ball down the field, the first thing they have to do is understand the game, understand the rules of the game, and the objectives of the game. So in football, it might be I have to take the ball down and score a goal. And so I'm making decisions. I'm taking in everything that's going on around me. I know where my opponents are and where my teammates are. And I'm constantly evaluating what I am seeing and making strategic decisions on how to execute physical skills to take that ball down the field and score a goal. It's very typical and very similar to how we evolved. Now, let's think about what's been going on for the last 250 years since the start of the Industrial Revolution. We've been creating machines to do this for us. And we've been moving more and more to operators of the machines, whether it's a big tractor or a horse and cart or a computer, whatever it is, we now have trained machines to do all of this engagement that is so deeply embedded in our DNA. So the question is, what are the consequences of this kind of change to how we engage in life and with the world? What are the consequences on our DNA? And how long is it going to take for our DNA to catch up with this change in evolution? This kind of DNA change takes hundreds and maybe thousands of years to accomplish. So with the lack of this kind of engagement in life, we really have to look at what are the consequences. In my opinion, what I'm seeing, and I started to see that right from the beginning in my early days as a school teacher, sitting people down does not work effectively. It is probably one of the hardest ways to train anybody, to teach anybody. We're mostly kinesthetic learners. When we engage our body in the learning process, we know how to make this work. We put it together quickly. And the science is solid about this. Executive functioning, decision-making, and attention in a dual task with a motor activity is proven scientifically to produce the fastest transference to real life activities. So this is important that we look at this. Now, when we look at the fitness industry and not the sports, because I think the sports world really has nailed it, but when we look at the fitness industry, we've been breaking it down right since the 60s. We've been breaking up everything into uniplanar exercises. And more, we put the brain to sleep by watching TV while you're on a treadmill or cycling. It's just the antithesis of what I consider to be a healthy approach to training. So SMARTfit also considers another factor, and that is the importance of engaging people with exercise. The importance of that relates to the more you can engage the decision-making part, I would say even the ego in achieving and goals to achieving, want to achieve, the more you can do that, the higher the degree of activity that happens in the executive function domain. So it's really important that we engage people in proactive activity rather than passive. One of the keys to this is the gamification of the activities. If you gamify them, there's a much higher intensity of play, and we'll get to that a bit later. Now, how do you create an environment where the human is the input device and the technology is getting the person to be that input device in a way that develops skill? The way we've accomplished it is we've created a technology that presents the information. Now, how does it work? Well, similar to the PC platform, which you'll see on the left, we have computers, different kinds of computers for different kinds of operations. We have an operating system. We have Microsoft Windows, and then we have Microsoft applications, Microsoft Office. And within Office, we have further applications like Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, etc. Now, in a similar way, we've created a platform that is specifically focused on high-performance training. And we did that by creating our own operating system that can present information to a wide number of targets, which are also computers in themselves that have their own display. And so we have had to develop multiple operating systems that are all merged together. High-speed communications, when we look at that, we're talking about the fastest athletes on earth, fastest reaction speed. I understand it to be about 0.3 seconds. So for us to be able to deploy input to a person at faster than the fastest athlete, we're looking at 0.1 to 0.2 seconds. So that's a very, very fast requirement to deliver 360-degree input to get that person to react appropriately. So we also want to have sound input. So we have the sound system, which is the interactive audio, and then we have a sensing system tied to the targets. So the targets are not only computers presenting information to the person, but they also include a sensing system that is identifying which target got hit when and how hard, okay? And then, of course, on the front of the computers, each target has a display, interactive display, which is presenting the problem and then sending the results back to the main computer. And this is all happening at the fastest speed of the fastest athlete. And when we looked at when creating this, we learned that both Microsoft, Android, Apple, none of those operating systems could present this information at that speed. So when we look at the SMARTfit operating system, we have a series of systems, the mini series for high cognitive, trainer series for sports, athletics, and then the strike pods, which provide a 360-degree environment that can work with the panel systems or without. Pretty exciting product in itself. So with those three solutions, we can then put a combination together and provide applications. Now, our applications appear as modes. And when you buy a system, a SMARTfit system, you have to decide what mode do you want. A rehab mode includes thousands of how-to videos and applications with reporting, data tracking, etc., that cover everything from neuro, ortho, return to sport, pediatrics, balance and vestibular, assisted and independent wellness programs. So that's an exciting component. If you're interested in those programs, then you would consider purchasing the rehab mode. And that would include all of those applications, including the testing, dual task cost testing, which includes also high cognitive training, where you can actually track cognitive performance, and then the dual task, which is cognitive and motor performance combined together. And that would involve measuring the loss of performance when you put a motor and a cognitive task together. That loss of performance is going to be an indicator of cognitive decline, physical decline, fall risk. The performance mode is more about helping well people get better and get great. Okay, so the systems here will be more the trainer systems, the pro trainers, the multi-trainers, and the strike pods. But the software in there, active aging, great software, a great programming in there for active aging, sports performance and tactical training, military, and then general fitness. And then we have another mode, which is we call the education mode, that covers content for kids and early childhood development, youth recreation, PE, school sports. It's loaded with kids programs. And the next section I'm going to cover is the gamification. So this is the power of the SMARTfit system, our game of games explained. And what you see here is we have, I believe right now there's 17 folders of games, and within each folder there are multiple games. And all up, we're looking at close to 60 different games. Each one of them has a different purpose. So low cognitive, high motor skills game folder, that would be our rally wall, our lights out, the track, the left, right, both, crossing hemispheres, chase games, go, no, go, reaction games like that. Those are pretty cool, a lot of fun, fast moving, and really good for group training, skills, kids, etc. Then we move to what we call our high cognitive games, and these involve a lot more cognitive demand. So they play more slowly because you're integrating the cognitive processing at a higher degree along with a motor activity. Okay, so the multiple choice games, metronome is fabulous, pattern recognition is fabulous for working memory development, Stroop, again, high cognitive, very high functioning cognitively, but needs to develop their motor control, motor system, or just their balance between motor and high cognitive. So these are fun games, very demanding. Flanker is great for sports and executive function and attention, reaction skills, stuff like that. Horsey block is, again, that's a tough one, but I love it because you just get so challenged to want to get better. Trail making A, trail making B, digit span forward, digit span backwards, great games. Serial sevens, another high cognitive game, counting backwards with a motor activity. It's tough. The memory pairs, there's, I think, half a dozen games in there alone. Pairing, another half a dozen games. Memory sequence, one of my favorite. I love that. That's sweet because you get a number or a letter and you have to solve the puzzle quickly. And you're developing motor skills while you're solving the puzzle, and your memory, working memory, it's just fun. Equations are super great for absolutely everybody. Just learning to do calculations, do the equations from memory, and working memory. And so it's multiplication, square roots, squares, division, subtraction, addition. These are great games. And then finally, we have spelling. You can upload any word list and play ball while you learn the spelling words of the week. It's really a wonderful way to learn a language, but it's also a great way for kids to learn the words of the week that they have to learn for school. So this is just an overview of the games. And then, of course, you can go to our website and download the list, and the games are explained in full detail there. And then finally, I think it's really important for us to look at comments by clinical experts. Out of the love of what they see and etc., they have freely given us these beautiful comments. You can go to the website and just scroll down. These experts have been very generous with the company in sharing the reasons why they purchased our product.
Hi, I'm Martin Teicher. I'm a MD, PhD, and I'm a director of the Developmental Biopsychiatry Research Program at McLean Hospital and on the faculty of Harvard Medical School. And I'm here at SMARTfit and becoming a member of the scientific advisory board for the company. And I'm very interested in the technology that they've produced. This is an incredibly well-engineered and designed machine that can basically mimic any kind of neurocognitive test. But it also brings in the capacity to get whole body movements and exercise in conjunction with it. So you can look at dual task performance, you can look at how much that alters cognitive ability by moving. So it has real potential as an assessment tool for alterations in neurocognitive function, and it has enormous potential as a treatment or rehabilitation device in which you can combine exercise, attention, cognitive testing, and have fun while doing it, which will make it work so much better than other alternatives.
SMARTfit can improve executive functioning better than physical exercise alone or cognitive alone through dual tasking. The research supports that. And we also know if we improve executive functioning, that generalizes to things that have never been trained, and including activities of daily living that can maximize independence and quality of life. That's it. But here's a goal. If we can delay dementia by 4 years, it's predicted that we will cut the incidence, the number of cases in the US, in half. The other thing, kind of at a really high level, we have 20 years of research, some of that research I've done myself, showing that cognitive stimulation can improve, and this is actually the key. If you really want to know what's happening in the brain, it improves executive functioning, and that includes your ability to pay attention, your ability to inhibit behavior, thoughts, problem-solving, reasoning. And here's the deal. This is 20 years of research summarized. If you can improve executive functioning, that generalizes or transfers to things that have never been trained.
It truly is my pleasure to be involved with this company, both looking at the research and development and truly the clinical application that we've been able to do. As you can see on this slide, my primary investment and role has been in developing our dual task games and our dual task testing. Dual task is the most widely studied unifying topic in rehabilitation. Now, as I was suggesting to you, this will be a little bit of a shocker for you. You'll see that if you just go to the same site, National Library of Medicine, and look at dual task, you'll notice here that down in the left-hand corner, I think you'll be able to populate the slide with the animation that I created. Just go to next here. Yeah, there we go. And then now you just type in dual task, go ahead and advance again. Now you'll see there's 10,500 results across all of just the evidence-based citations in the National Library of Medicine. So these are all just peer-reviewed journals. These are not magazine articles. Now give me another advance here. If you look down here, that hockey stick of growth from about 2016 all the way to where we are in 2023. Now do one more slide advance and you'll see something very remarkable. The top citation just came out the day before yesterday, and that one, the first one that comes up, is not talking about rehabilitation of stroke, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, concussion, all the places that we could. But the top one that just came out was return to sport decision-making after an anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction. So you could be a major league soccer player and know that the evidence says you must use dual tasking to get yourself back on the field after a primary ligament in your knee has been reconstructed.
My name is Dr. Chris Powers. I'm the owner of the Movement Performance Institute. Our specialty is really training corrective movement mechanics in athletes. We use SMARTfit quite a bit in the end of our rehab program, where we're really trying to get movement behavior to become more automatic. In the past, we rely heavily on feedback to train corrective movement patterns. But what we've really been missing is really making this movement more automatic and really practicing the correct movements while the patient is thinking about something else.
It would be great if we had a technology, a turnkey solution, if you will, to provide strength, balance, neuromotor, cognitive, aerobic, all in one. And this is what SMARTfit, I believe, can do. And this is what we found at our facility, is that we can facilitate all of these modalities through a single technology. And of course, this SMARTfit has various different types of products that allow you to facilitate it. But at its core, multimodal training that incorporates cognitive load is available. And there's turnkey programming in the system that SMARTfit, myself, and other experts have built to actually deliver what I've been showing here and here in a turnkey program via an application that controls these different systems.
SMARTfit is a smart choice. I really enjoy this tool. I use it every day with almost all of my patients. I use it for patients of all age groups. My youngest right now, my kiddo is 7. My oldest is 70, and I've used it for anywhere in between as well. So I think it's just so versatile in that way. It maximizes my ability to treat in that time. And then using the SmartFit, it's as simple as just utilizing my iPad with the screen and trying to change things up right there as I go. I keep it fun, I keep it light, it's exciting, and it kind of gives the patient a little bit of insight into how they're doing, because you can show how they performed one day to the next.
So basically, as I said, my work is really focused on developing usable, feasible, and appealing and engaging and effective community-based interventions to improve cognition in older adults. So this particular intervention was, we called it ThinkFit, and it is a community-based dual task intervention. And we used, obviously, SmartFit to deliver the dual task training. The idea was really to engage in this idea of dual task training or simultaneous cognitive and motor training. It was group-based. We implemented it within a YMCA within the city of Buffalo, and it included 10 older adults who were 68 to 85 years of age with mild cognitive impairment. It was a 12-week intervention, and we were focused on improving balance, walking speed, attention, task switching, and interference inhibition. I think it's important to understand that with SmartFit, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a moment, but their efforts to not only train individuals, but to assess their cognitive function using SmartFit is revolutionary, because it takes into consideration the fact that most of the things that we have to accomplish in our lives require multitasking. And so to assess one domain of cognition, for example, attention, well, you might play Lumosity or one of these other canned brain training games that exist, or these little apps that exist, but they only improve that one domain. It's very clear that SmartFit has the potential to improve multiple domains and our ability to multitask, which is critical to managing and navigating our lives, especially as we get older.
So I'm so excited to talk about SmartFit. This is not a forced marketing campaign. This is something I wanted to do because I just love this training that TJ gave us. I thought it was the best training I've ever received on a new product that is the most interesting and stimulating activity that I could introduce to the Marines. I'm so excited to use it. My name is Shelia, and I'm a human performance trainer for the Marine Corps. This system is going to, I really feel, benefit Marines, athletes, seniors, all levels of civilians on this base. It will enhance their skill level. It's fun, it's exciting. The amount of things we could do with it was amazing. On top of that, all of the different strength, agility, dynamic balance, functional movement, concentration, brain activity, reaction. This is so much fun. The skill level is unbelievable. The Marines love it. We did some playing with them, and I intend to use this for every type of training principle and protocol there is.
I'm Gunnar Peterson. I'm a personal trainer in Beverly Hills, California. I've been doing this for 29 years, and I've been working with professional athletes for 25 years. SmartFit is the next big thing in fitness because it has a universal appeal and it incorporates the brain and the body. So SmartFit, while it can challenge you physically, can also challenge you from a cognitive standpoint. So you're making better decisions under pressure. Obviously that translates to sports, but it can also translate to the workplace. Mental acuity stays high, you make less errors, and you rise up in your field.
I hope that worked for you. I hope you were able to follow what I was saying and sharing. And if it didn't, go to our YouTube channel, SmartFit Inc., or just go to our website, smartfitinc.com, and take a look around the website for yourself. Thank you for your time. Take care.